what's up Avery Pro Fam? It's actually Daniels here, your host today, and today we're going to be discussing Starfield, which recently launched on the 1st of September if you got early access, and today I'm going to be discussing all my early thoughts with the game, only playing 48 hours of the game so far. There's not much I can comment on, but I'm going to comment on the parts that I can comment on in this video. Remember to click that subscribe button if you like our content, guys. Remember to click that like button if you like this video, and remember to click that bell notification if you want to be notified every time we release a new video. But now that's out of the way, guys, let's get straight into the video and discuss Starfield. Okay guys, so basically today what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you all the things that I dislike so far about the game. I'm going to get all the negatives out the way, and then what I'm going to do is there's going to be another video that comes out this week which will be discussing all the positives I think about the game. Now, may I just state straight away, this game is mind-blowing. Straight away, this game is really good. I'm really enjoying it so far, and it's definitely got me hooked. Especially with the ship customization. You know, I enjoy going up to ships, shooting them, and then boarding them, and then shooting the people on the ships, whether that's pirates or the Crimson Fleet or whatever. You know, that's the thing that I enjoy doing, and just exploring. But don't get me wrong, there are some negatives about this game as well, and today I'm going to be discussing all those. Now, there's not many, but there are a few, and they are substantial to a certain extent because it does impact the immersion, I feel. Okay, guys. So number one, loading screens. I'm just gonna go straight out of it and say, why did you add loading screens? There's so many games now that don't have loading screens that, quite frankly, graphically are more demanding, i.e., you know, Red Dead Redemption 2, for instance. That game is graphically demanding. There's a lot of stuff in the game that, you know, that has to be loaded and all that sort of stuff. And yet there's no loading screens. When you walk into a building, it's simultaneous, you know. Everything just loads and there's no issue. Yet, Starfield, I'm afraid, is a bit different. Now, yes, we were aware that loading screens would play a part in the game, you know, when you left a planet or went onto a planet. But I'm afraid loading screens play a bigger part than we at first originally thought, because it turns out that when you enter your ship there is a loading screen, and when you enter buildings there is a loading screen. And all these things do impact the immersion. So I would say that it does impact the gameplay, sort of. Not massively. I mean, there's still a ton of great things in the game, as I said. You know, and to a certain extent, you do kind of forget that there is loading screens. But still, like, when you go to a build, oh god, there's a loading screen coming up, you know what I mean? Or, oh, god damn it, I've just remembered, I'm playing a game, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you forget that you're playing a game because of how immersive it can be. But then when you got a loading screen that comes into the equation, it kind of can sometimes be, it just ruins the moment sometimes, guys. So just bear with it. Loading screens are annoying in the game, but there's far more positives, you know, in the game rather than negatives. And loading screens is just a little problem, which I'm hoping the modding community will sort out later down the line, or maybe even Bethesda Games, if they realise, oh, maybe we should do a few tweaks, you know, to sort that out. I'm not saying that they're gonna do that, but maybe, you know, it might be a possibility. Okay, guys. Secondly, there are a few bugs in the game. There are a few, not many, but there are a few bugs. And obviously, when you go into a game, you know, you're gonna expect bugs. But some of the bugs that I've come around, especially the other day, yesterday, I experienced quite substantial lagging, and it was just very glitchy, and I had to delete the game and reinstall it. So that may happen to yourself. There could be plenty of reasons for it. It could be the game itself, or it could be that you've put it on a HDD or whatever. But I definitely suggest sticking it on a solid state drive, SSD for short. And yeah, that should sort it out. But There was a lot of lagging, a lot of bug, a lot of like I was falling through the planet that I was on as well. So there was a few bugs, but to be fair, compared to other games that Bethesda's launched, it was actually really, really smooth. It's just that the bugs that were in the game were substantial, but like there wasn't a lot of them. But when they happened, they were, oh, this is annoying, sort of thing. But I feel like there's a lot less bugs in this game compared to the likes of Fallout 4 when that first came out, and even Skyrim, because they had a lot more bugs, guys. But Starfield feels a bit more polished, and I think that is also that extra year that they said they were gonna, that they needed. I think that played a part in the whole bug fixing, and stuff like that. So there is a few, but not many compared to the other Bethesda games. And as I say, just be wary of that. Thirdly, obviously, it is a very, like, I'm gonna say this straight out. It's a very steep price for 5 days early access. Now I've paid for it, okay, but I think it should have only been an extra 10 quid or something like that, not an extra £30. It's pounds where I live. I think that 30 quid just for 5 days early access is a bit of a con, personally, and that's one of the downers I see towards Starfield as well. It is a bit of a con, charging 30 quid just for 5 days. I would have charged £10 to £15. You know what I mean? It's understandable. These people have put hard work into their game, and I can get the whole thing about them wanting to make an income, obviously, and all the workers have to be paid. I get that, but I just think that 30 quid for 5 days early access is quite steep, especially when you think some games do only cost 30 quid, and that's for an entire game. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't agree with it personally, but there again, it is what it is. But you do get a few extra little things with it, but I wouldn't say it's substantial. I wouldn't say it's substantial enough to charge 30 quid. That's just my view. But I bought it because I was eager to play the game, and I haven't been disappointed mostly. So yeah, that's also another negative about the game. And I'd also state that the game is very slow. And what I mean by that is I've noticed as I've gone into the game and the missions, and I'm not going to spoil the missions or anything for you guys, because I'm going to let you all see that for yourself. But the missions feel a bit... It takes a while to get into Starfield. It is a slow paced game in the aspects of storytelling. There's, you like... You're on a mission, and all of a sudden something else comes around, and then you're on that for a whole day, 2 days. You know what I mean? Like, literally, there's a lot that grabs your attention. There's a lot that bombards you, and then you're like, God, where do I start? And I think sometimes you can kind of forget that. Oh God, I was on another mission yesterday, and it's like you kind of forget what you were doing. And that also affects the speed that you go through the main story, because there is so much to do. Which is a positive, which is amazing. I'm just saying, don't expect it to be go here, go there sort of thing. It is, you get lost. It is a feeling of being lost in the game, and that has positive parts to it. I like the idea of loads of things happening, but for some people that possibly would be a negative, and I could see it being a negative for people who just want to do the story rather than the side stuff. You know what I mean? So I do get it, and I do think that it will be a negative for some. For me, not too bad, but again, I'm going to put it in the negative category because I think that a lot of people will be a bit overwhelmed with that, with there being so much to do, and where do I start, and then you get lost, and yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a bit of time getting used to, and I haven't gotten used to it, and I'm probably not going to get used to it for a few months. No joke, guys. This game is massive. So yeah, I'd say that they're the main negatives I have towards it. I'd also state that you'll find that you'll go in some areas and literally you'll get shot once and you're dead. So watch out, because there are some systems that are just over the top, and you'll get pirates and all this, space pirates chasing you, and literally one shot and your ship's down, and that's it. So you got to be careful about which system you go to and which level that system has, because if that system has, let's say, a level 90 and you're only a level 4, you're gonna get killed. I think that's pretty clear straight off. But there's a lot in the game, and yeah, that's it really, guys. That's all I gotta say really. But but yeah, just make that decision yourself, I guess. You know, buy the game, make your own judgments. I'm just pre-warning you that there are a few negatives. But I'd say mostly the game is spot on, like really spot on. Like there's a lot of stuff in it, and I like that. Like there's some games and it just feels empty. And I know another concern people had was when you go onto a planet, there comes a point when there's boundaries on that planet, so you have to, you know, load to the next like sort of piece of land on the planet. You can't just walk through that boundary. Yes, there is that, guys, but I haven't. Obviously, I've seen videos with that, but I haven't come across it myself. And to be honest, guys, with this game, you're not gonna walk around an entire planet. I'll say that straight off. Like, with there being no vehicles, it will become very, very you know, sort of thing. And I was like, oh, I can't go this far. I'm going to go back to my ship and go and do something. You know what I mean? So there does come a point where it's like, nah, I'm done with this sort of thing. You know? And I walk for around the planet for about 10 minutes now. I'm like, I fancy doing a mission. You know, you are not going to walk around the entire planet. The only way you're going to do that is if you're doing a challenge for YouTube or something like that. But you're not going to be walking around the entire planet. But again, I'm going to put it in the negatives because I do see the argument that you've got the likes of No Man's Sky, and this game is not No Man's Sky. This game is very different to No Man's Sky. It does have some No Man's Sky traits, but it's very different. I do see the argument that if No Man's Sky can have simultaneous exploration around a planet, you know what I mean, and if that can have vehicles, then why can't Starfield? I get the argument. But Starfield is a different game. Starfield has a different objective to No Man's Sky. So yeah, just bear that in mind. You know that there is some limitations, and it does feel like a game that came back. When it comes to loading and when it comes to, you know, exploration, it does feel, not graphically. Graphically, it looks decent, but and it does look this current gen, but when it comes to exploration, it does feel a bit last gen, no joke. When I got the loading screens, I was like, oh my god, this brings back some memories, you know what I mean? Because I've played games now for about a few years without loading screens, and then all of a sudden, oh, this game's got a ton of loading screens. So I'd say that's my number one problem with the game, it's got loading screens, but except for that, like the others are just... I did a few little tweaks on my download, and I haven't had any bugs since, so I do think it was a me problem, like I downloaded it wrong or something like that. But I'm just going to put it in the negatives in case that isn't the case. And as I said, guys, just judge the game for yourself. But yes, I've logged all the negatives here, but trust me, the video that comes out in a few days, guys, you will, when I'm naming all the positives, you're going to realise that there's a lot more positives than negatives. But I just wanted to get the negatives out of the way first. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I hope you have a great weekend, because the weekend is coming up as I'm filming this video. But yeah, if you haven't seen this video before, then you'll see this video the week after. So I hope you have a good week. All right, guys, thank you so much. Stay safe, and if you get Starfield, have a good time. That's about it. See you soon, guys. Bye.